interesting times. This week's stories. A recap of 2019's top U.S. stories. In Georgia, beauty title holders and a coach share their insights about the pageant at the Miss Universe event 2019 in Atlanta. In California, get to know the inspiration behind the floats of this year's Pasadena's Tournament of Roses parade. Plus, we will take you to the Tournament of Roses parade as it welcomes 2020. This is Eagle News Weekend Edition, broadcasting from Las Vegas, bringing you stories from around the globe. I am Lonnie Valdecantos. Bidding goodbye to 2019, we took a quick look at some stories that made headlines this past year. Here are Eliza Gonzalez Maglimot and Ace Ramirez for the recap.
Happy New Year from Washington, D.C., everyone, and thank you for joining us today. Happy New Year to you, Ace.
And Happy New Year to you too, Eliza. Greetings, everyone. Join us as we bring you the major stories that made headlines in the U.S. this past year.
In politics, 2019 started with a continuation of the longest government shutdown in United States history. It started on December 22, 2018 and continued on until January 25 of this year, 2019.
I remember that. President Donald Trump and Congress could not finalize a budget for weeks because they could not see eye to eye on the president's desire to use federal funding to erect a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. Congress and the White House finally agreed on a federal funding 35 days later.
35 days, the longest in U.S. history to date, and we're hoping it doesn't happen again, or doesn't happen longer.
Another story,
yes. Another story that ran long in the U.S. news cycle is the Robert Mueller investigation, wherein Mueller and his special task force investigated possible interference by the Russians in the 2016 U.S. presidential elections.
And throughout the year, Congress and the White House had many different scuffles on TV via Twitter, but none bigger than when the Democrat-led House of Representatives held impeachment trials against President Donald Trump.
That is true. In the political arena, it is safe to say that this one is the biggest news story in the country, if not the world, in 2019, with Donald J. Trump becoming only the third president to be impeached by the House in the history of the United States. He was impeached on 2 articles, abuse of power and obstruction of Congress.
And I would agree. In January, we will see how this chapter of Trump's presidential career would unfold as the Republican-controlled Senate tries to end this with an acquittal, thereby keeping President Donald Trump in office.
That is what's expected to happen if it ever gets sent to the Senate.
If. That's a great point. If it gets sent, because as of this report, Nancy Pelosi is holding off on handing it off to the Senate. Meanwhile,
let's move on.
While it was a turbulent year in Washington when it came to politics, it was a great, historic year in sports for the nation's capital.
In women's basketball, the Washington Mystics became the WNBA champions for the first time in franchise history with an 89-78 Game 5 win over the Connecticut Sun. 2019 also has seen the Mystics record their best ever, so another historic one, regular season with 26 wins and only 8 losses.
If Mystics fans were excited, just imagine how exuberant Washington, D.C. baseball fans were after the Washington Nationals turned their season around from being the second worst team in the National League in May 2019.
Really? Second worst.
Right. The record was 19 wins and 31 losses. To not only gaining a 5th playoff berth with a record of 74-38, but eventually ending their Cinderella season.
Ding, 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 Cinderella, that's the word.
By coming back beating the Houston Astros in Game 7 of the Major League Baseball World Series.
This was their first championship in franchise history. Another first in sports
A lot.
was the Toronto Raptors winning the NBA championships against the Golden State Warriors dynasty and becoming another first, the first Canadian team to bring the NBA championship title north of the border.
That's right.
But it wasn't always happy news or celebration. There were also some devastating things that happened to the country this year.
In other news, according to gunviolencearchive.org, an evidence-based research group, the number of mass shootings in the U.S. in 2019 is more than the days of the year.
Unfortunately, that is true, Ace, and records show that there have been 417 mass shooting incidents in the country this passing year, killing more than 200 children aged 0 to 11 and more than 700 teenagers aged 12 to 17 and injuring thousands more.
Thus, sparking more debate on gun control, laws, and use. Shootings that anger the country this year include the Virginia Beach, Virginia rampage in May. It's a city employee that killed 12 and injured several others.
Also that which happened in Odessa and El Paso, Texas in August, claiming the lives of 8 in Odessa and 22 in El Paso. And just days ago, a church shooting in White Settlement, Texas, killing 2.
As we enter 2020, we have yet to see where these gun control debates would take the nation and if it will help lessen, if not eradicate, senseless gun violence plaguing the country.
Meanwhile, natural disasters also filled the news headlines. One of the most searched news stories of the year was Hurricane Dorian. This major storm formed on August 24 as a tropical wave in the central Atlantic and became a hurricane on August 28.
According to the National Weather Service, on September 1, Dorian reached Category 5 intensity with maximum sustained winds of 185 miles per hour. According to the National Weather Service, Hurricane Dorian battered the Bahamas so badly it is regarded as the worst natural disaster to impact the region.
The worst. The storm killed more than 60 people in the Bahamas and cost billions of dollars worth of damage. It threatened the U.S. eastern seaboard, but the damage, however, was minimal compared to the devastation the storm caused in the Bahamas.
And we can't forget about the fires that ravaged California for several weeks, scorching thousands of acres and burning structures along its path.
Displacing thousands, not just hundreds, thousands who have lost their homes and everything they have, but also giving a chance for neighbors to help each other out in times of grief. That's the good part about it.
There's hope in humanity. Right? As we have witnessed, resilience always shines through amid very trying circumstances the passing year has brought.
Stories in 2019, happy or sad, have made its way into our homes, giving us the opportunity to think, examine, and act on things that affect us and those around us.
Because we truly live in interesting times. From Washington, D.C., I'm Ace Ramirez.
And I am Melissa Gonzalez Manglik-Mott, wishing you all a very happy new year, and we are one with 25.
Thanks, Ace and Eliza. Coming up, in Georgia, beauty title holders and the coach share their insights about the pageant at the Miss Universe event 2019 in Atlanta. Eagle News Weekend Edition will return shortly. Stay with us. Welcome back. This is Eagle News Weekend Edition coming to you from Las Vegas. I am Lonnie Valdecantos. Our Eagle News correspondents, Frendo Fajarin and MJ Ricadio, speak to former beauty queens and the pageant coach to know their opinion about what makes a Miss Universe in these times. Take a look.
Atlanta, the capital of the state of Georgia, is a home of rich American history, well-visited landmarks like downtown Centennial Olympic Park, built for the 1996 Olympics. Atlanta is also known for its diverse musical heritage, Southern hospitality, and in addition to other unique characteristics, Atlanta is now known as a host city for the recent Miss Universe 2019, which was held at the Tyler Perry Studios last December 8, 2019. The smiles are only found up and down the streets. They radiate from the stage to the audience, on and off the red carpet, and into every lens. A smile goes way beyond a mile. Like the city of Atlanta, impeccable character defines its unique strength and beauty. We get an exclusive look straight from the Miss Universe 2019 press room.
What is the characteristic makeup of a beauty pageant, a Miss Universe?
This is hardworking, beautiful inside out, compassionate, versatile, and positive.
Yes, I definitely agree. Let's go ahead and dive into the hearts and minds of beauty contestants, winners, and supporters.
Having a characteristic makeup such as these, coupled with a key ingredient, can propel and empower you to reach toward greater heights through life-changing experiences. Let's hear from Miss Universe 1991, Lupita Jones, as she talks about a gem she picked up during her Miss Universe journey.
We have a chance to learn many things, but one of the most important, I believe, is respect. We need to respect each other. We need to respect that we can be different, but that doesn't mean that we have to fight to each other because of our differences. And what I learn and love about Miss Universe, they keep showing us that we can be different, but we can be friends with those differences and respect each other. That's the main thing that we can learn about Miss Universe.
From the lens of a correspondent, we bring you face-to-face with former Miss USA and pinnacle supporters in the pageant world. Let's now dive into valuable thought of self-talk and keeping good character at the forefront.
Oh, it's all about protecting your mental space. So if there's any mean bullies, people on Instagram, all that kind of stuff, block them. We don't have time for the mean, the negative, the bullying. We just don't have time for that. So protect your mental space, block any bullies. We don't have time for that.
Their inner voice must say, now let's get this straight. I rocked an interview. My hair, my makeup, and my face doesn't get any better than this. And these other girls, they got one job. Give me time to change clothes. I'm your Miss Universe. That's what they must be thinking.
Well, one thing that always stands out is that whoever rises to the top, who normally will capture that title, is someone who is not only unique, but who is themselves, who is confident and poised in who they are. It's not someone who's been trained to say the perfect sound bite, but they actually speak from the heart, that all of us do understand, and you can see that on the stage immediately.
Positive reaffirmations are critical and universal for anyone to hurdle challenges and triumph any setbacks. Our reigning Miss Universe shares truth about the key ingredient to empower oneself to radiate and positively influence those around us.
For me to be able to be here today, crowned as a Miss Universe, with my hair looking the way that it does, and my skin looking the way that it does, is something truly magical, and I hope that it touches every child who grew up the way that I grew up and was told that, they were not beautiful. And it even extends beauty, because it's not just about beauty. It's about breaking boundaries and doing things that you've been told you can never do before.
Having a positive mindset seems to be the main ingredient in overcoming challenges and achieving confidence. From Atlanta, Georgia, I'm Frenzel Fahirin. And we are one with 25.
Thanks, Frendel and MJ. Up next, in California, get to know the inspiration behind the floats of this year's Pasadena Tournament of Roses Parade. Plus, we will take you to the Tournament of Roses Parade as it welcomes 2020. Eagle News Weekend Edition will be right back. Stay with us. This is Eagle News Weekend Edition, coming to you from Las Vegas. I am Lonnie Valdecantos. Every first day of the year, the streets of Pasadena, California come alive with dozens of beautiful, beautiful floats worked on by hundreds of hands. Our Eagle News team in Los Angeles gets up close with this year's float builders and learns the story behind their creations. Take a look.
The New Year's Day Tournament of Roses Parade in Pasadena, California welcomes visitors from all over the world.
And for those arriving a few days early, there's plenty of pre-2020 activities to do around town. Perhaps nothing sets the stage for the Rose Parade better than a visit to one of the decorating places, where an early up-close view of some of the floats can be arranged.
Behind us, we have our women's suffrage float celebrating the 19th Amendment of the women's right to vote. Because it is the 19th Amendment and the women's suffrage float, you just get that pride of how we fought to get that right to vote. So people are very excited about that.
This is the Cal Poly float. We build one float between the two Cal Poly campuses, Cal Poly San Luis Obispo and Cal Poly Pomona. And this year our float is Aquatic Aspirations. And so we have a submarine that has come looking for treasure, and instead they found the true treasure of the underwater life in the ocean. You'll never understand the true detail that goes into these parade floats unless you actually see them. It's people individually putting on seed by seed or flower by flower, all sorts of these different things, and I think that actually seeing them in person is totally different than, seeing it on TV. You really get to see all of the details that go into these floats.
This is one of two floats, so Oregon and Wisconsin, they're both designed the same. The football, it's actually in honor of the 150th anniversary of college football, and essentially what we're doing is we're decorating the float to get ready. Specifically, we're decorating the O, which is the Oregon the O that's actually the symbol of the school.
It's really meticulous work. So like, for example, the deck of this float, we have to glue a large crushed walnut with glue, and we have to pat it down with our hands. And then for the O logo, we have to put these broadleaf, these large leaves on it, and then we have to carefully trim the edge so it cuts to fit the Oregon logo on the sign.
We have a couple folks on our team from Florida, Salt Lake City, all over the country. The Tournament of Roses is something that's seen around the world. We actually had on our team yesterday, we had 3 exchange students from all over the world. One was from Germany, one was from Spain. There was a third, but I don't know exactly which country from. My normal job has nothing to do with anything creative like this. And in my day-to-day life, I'm not very patient. I'm not very artistic and creative. This is a really cool outlet to kind of let that happen. I didn't think I would enjoy it the very first day I came out, and I was hooked. It's really enjoyable.
Also enjoyable is the opportunity to get together for food and conversation.
Mexican sushi? What is that? So I bought this little cart, crossed it over. I used to cater on the street, and people used to ask me, hey, what kind of tacos do you sell? I don't sell tacos. What do you sell? Sushi. On the street? So people were like, what do you mean? Hey, you're gonna get somebody sick. No, but it's not raw fish. It's carne asada. It's chicken, it's bacon, it's Monterey cheese. It's stuff you find at a taco truck. We're getting ready for the Roses Parade. So we're spinning it up with Sushi Loco, just making it fun for, 2020 is around the corner. We're gonna enter a new decade, 2020. There's a lot of things going on in the political arena, and in the food arena, Sushi Loco is coming to town.
Coming to town, or in this case, marching in BandFest. Spectators got a preview of marching bands from schools in the United States and from faraway countries like Japan, who have incorporated choreographed dance moves for the length of the 5.5-mile parade route. Having already marched in the 2017 Tournament of Roses Parade, one student is back to do it again, undaunted despite having a prosthetic leg.
She was born with just one leg.
みんなでステップの形とかを合わせるのが難しかったです。
Learning the marching and following the steps, all of that was a really challenging thing, especially, of course, with an artificial leg. But it was a wonderful experience.
こういう場所に出ることは誰もができることじゃないと思うので、今回できた経験を大切にしながらこれからも過ごしたいなって思います。
I know it's a very special privilege to have the opportunity to be in a Rose Parade, so I just want to take advantage of every opportunity like that I have been blessed with to do that.
The theme of the parade is the power of hope.
And we hope that you'll keep watching Eagle News for our coverage of the 2020 Tournament of Roses Parade.
In Pasadena, California,
at the Tournament of Roses Parade headquarters,
Eva and Allen, Eagle News, we are 1 with 25.
Now that we've learned the inspiration behind some of those floats, let's take a look at this year's celebration as the Tournament of Roses Parade welcomes 2020.
Some people say 2020 is the start of a new decade. Other people disagree. What's your vote?
Yeah, I think 2020 is the beginning of the new decade.
I say 2020 is the start of a new decade. I was going to say start, but when I really thought about it, I think one is the start. So I think this is the end of a decade.
What is your New Year's resolution?
So less stress and I think more kindness.
Enjoy life and enjoy every moment of it.
I'm going to try to be on my phone less this year because I'm on it a lot.
Spend less time on my phone and more time with my kids and more time outside. Fitting into those jeans again or reading some more books. But I think living every day and with that power of hope.
Happy New Year! We are 1 with 25! Yay!
Every New Year's Day, Pasadena, California is the capital for seekers of
marching bands, equestrian units, and oh yes, floats.
People talked about what brought them out to Pasadena and their experience watching the parade in person.
Excited to watch the Ducks play in the Rose Bowl and be here in Pasadena and watch the parade and the game.
New Year's Day combined with nice weather, a big blimp flying above us. I mean, what more can you ask for right now?
So our son is a senior at Madison, and he is in the marching band, and so he will be marching down the street here very soon.
Live flowers on every single float. There is no color spray paint or anything like that. It's flowers, it's seeds, it's everything. It's all natural. It's unbelievable.
We have the Rose Parade in Portland. That's what I'm used to seeing. So I guess I'm here at the granddaddy of parades as well as the games.
It's hard to believe what they do with all of the materials that they use. It's fascinating and it's beautiful.
Prepare for a lot of traffic to get here in the last 1 mile.
I can't put it in words because it's so beautiful and everything instead of watching it on TV. So the being here changes everything.
It's being with all the people, seeing the same thing, and especially if you go and see the floats earlier and seeing the last minute touches, and then to actually see them come down the street and say, wow, we were able to see them working on that. And it's, I don't know, it's just kind of thrilling.
It's the most beautiful show that is possible. I go to it like every year, and every year it's such a huge source of positive emotions. Even people who do not like flowers, they really enjoy it, and I enjoy it for sure.
I loved it. It's just beautiful, and all the roses are amazing, and it's very well organized, and it's a very happy way to start the new year.
I used to watch it on the TV as a kid, so now to see it in person and see all these beautiful flowers up close, it's really amazing. It's beautiful to see all the detail work. I mean, things I never knew, like all of the wording of things are laid by beans one by one, and to see that up close is something you can't get on a TV.
Just the amount of effort that goes into all these floats, the detail with every single little bit of flower, you get up close to them, you see them out, and you're like amazed how, much work this went into the parade floats. You don't really see that on television, but here you do see it in person. You see, wow, that's a lot of work. That's really beautiful.
The floats are amazing, either watching the parade or seeing them up close. It's nothing like what you see on TV. It's really cool to be here.
The theme for this year's parade is the power of hope. We asked attendees what their hope would be for humankind.
I wish everybody would just be kinder to each other. I think it would just make things a lot easier if everyone just had kindness.
Other than hoping for a Duck victory, peace, and everybody has a place to shelter.
Less divide and more, unity.
We can see our similarities and focus less on our differences.
Get along a lot more.
I hate the hate in the world lately, and I just would like everybody to just calm down and just enjoy the fact that we have a life. And more kindness for sure.
After seeing the size and grandeur of these floats in person, it's no wonder that an estimated 800,000 attendants,
plus millions of viewers worldwide, spend their New Year's morning watching the Rose Parade.
In Pasadena, California, Eva and Alan, Eagle News, we are 1 with 25.
Of Old Lang Syne. Happy New Year, Eagle News viewers.
Thanks, Eva and Alan. That is this week's Eagle News Weekend Edition. Join us next week for stories from our bureaus across the nation and around the globe. Visit our websites at eaglenews.net and eaglenewslive.com. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/EagleNews and on facebook.com/EagleNews. Thank you for watching. I am Lonnie Valdecantos. I am 1 with 25.